Cheese gets the blame for sideways trade in milk prices. Farm-raised catfish sales are rising, and China agrees to buy U.S. rice. Chicken farmers are saying they need more export business, and apparently Washington is listening. A bipartisan group of 37 U.S. senators, led by Mississippi's Thad Cochran and Virginia's Mark Warner, went to bat for poultry last week. The senators called on Ag Secretary Sonny Perdue to press for the swift reopening of the Chinese market to U.S. exports. Well, although it's summer, demand is said to remain good for milk these days. So what's keeping farm gate prices from going higher? At least one analyst is putting the blame on the cheese market.
We were up at the 17 levels, and then cheddar cheese prices fell. And so it always comes back to pretty much the cheese market for milk prices right now. It's never been a supply problem. It's just thankfully our demand overall is good. I don't see milk falling substantially lower. Okay. Demand is really good, but at the same time, we don't have a reason to get really above 17 either. Gotcha. So looking for a big sideways trading rate.
During the just concluded month of July, hog producers enjoyed record prices for pork bellies. And when I say record, I mean like 51% higher than only 1 year ago. Now, on the other side of the fence, consumers are being given a warning about what this means at the grocery store for them. Bacon prices are likely to top $5.50 per pound or higher by the end of August. That's a 16% jump from the July prices. Well, at the pond bank, catfish processing in the U.S., it's running about 8% above 1 year ago. But the latest processing report shows a little slip in fish prices. U.S. producers received a pond bank price of $1.14 per pound in June. That's the latest month available. That's a drop of 7 cents per pound from a year ago for premium size live fish. Farm sales totaled just under 30 million pounds round weight. That's an increase of 9% from June 2016. Processor sales were up 3% from a year ago at 13.5 million pounds. Mississippi rice farmers can look forward to new export business in the future. Late last month, the U.S. and China signed an agreement opening the door to U.S. milled rice being allowed into China. USA Rice President Betsy Ward says it's been a decade-long process up to this point. A few technical hurdles remain before shipments begin, including Chinese inspections of U.S. rice mills. However, Ward says the first sale may happen before January. Well, the recent meeting of the Boll Weevil Management Corporation brought continued good news to cotton producers. For the 9th year in a row, Mississippi is weevil-free. A lot of work goes into keeping that perfect record, though.
We are continuing to monitor the situation by running traps in a surveillance manner, but we put a trap out within a mile of each cotton field and run those traps throughout the growing season, just in the event that any weevils were brought in by any means or happened to fly in by any means.
As we mentioned a bit earlier, corn harvest is underway. Extension agent Lamar Adams reports growers began cutting grain in Pike County near Macomb Wednesday and Thursday of last week. Harvest time, along with big July reports, are turning the corn and soybean markets a bit volatile. Ag economist Brian Williams comments. What is it about the supply and demand numbers that turned up the volatility for corn?
Well, the big thing on that was a big increase in the ending stocks numbers. The new ending stocks were increased by about 215 million bushels. The old crop was increased by 75 million bushels. And the new crop, a lot of that was on larger production. So that's really the big driver right now.
And these larger supplies of corn were really unexpected by the market?
Well, it wasn't all that unexpected. A lot of it comes back to 900,000 acre increase in planted acres that came from the June 30th report, and that resulted in a 1.1 million acre increase in the harvested acres. The yield was the same, so that really, it's the change in the acreage that bumped those numbers up so much.
And I know feed use was mentioned as well. It was lower than expected.
The old crop feed use was lower than expected. A lot of that was from actual numbers that they saw coming in the grain stocks report. New crop was increased. New crop feed use was increased by 50 million bushels. That was just because of the expectation of a larger crop, larger production in combination with lower prices.
Now turning to soybeans, commentaries generally are saying right now it's in full weather market mode. Explain that.
Definitely. It's, you know, we're looking at a fairly severe drought across the northern plains. There's some prediction to some continued hot, dry weather across the Corn Belt, which is where a lot of soybeans are also grown. And so with that in mind, the markets are responding accordingly with us being in kind of a key time in terms of determining those yields.
And the latest report increased U.S. soybean acreage as well, right?
The harvested acres was increased. Planted acres was the same, but harvested acres was increased by about 100,000 acres, which gives us roughly 5 million more bushels of production.
And finally, here in Mississippi, would you say the bean crop is above average at this point in the summer?
Well, we're progressing ahead of average right now. As far as the numbers, we're about 63% of our crop is setting pods. That's compared to a 5-year average of about 45%. So we're well ahead of where we are usually.